guys, Lennon. This is my rationale for my long-range plan. So I use a template, but if you scroll down to the gray banner right below it, I have my all-year skills and procedures. So these are just the skills and procedures I'm working on all year. At the top, easy to reference, and each one is organized underneath their organizing idea. At the bottom, I have routines and units. So these are my daily, weekly routines that I want to go through, and then my units, just so it's easy for me to reference back to and see where I need to be, opposed to having it right into the template, which is I found clustered and really hard to follow. Now I come to the organize an idea. So phonics, I have them with recognizing just more familiar consonant clusters, and then working towards clusters and sounds that they're not as familiar with and they're not as well known. As for fluency, I have them reading more basic texts with as fluent as I can, and then just working towards more complex texts to the point where they can read them complex text with a lot of fluency and automaticity. And then for textures and forms, I have them examine the purpose of a variety of texts, and then just moving to the basic and more specific text, so like fiction and how that's structured. And then because I felt that was an easier concept for them to grasp because they have experience with it, then I moved to nonfiction. And eventually I ended with poetry because I felt that was a bit more harder to understand, and the background knowledge would help them be able to decipher that. Then I moved in comprehension, where I had them start reading and getting comfortable with reading basic texts, and then moving in more into the analyzing and examining of it, so making predictions, finding the big idea, making connections, and eventually getting to the point where they're connecting and expressing their feelings and really getting that deep understanding of what they're reading. Oral communication, I have them engage in just basic dialogue to express their ideas and messages, and then learning the mechanics behind effective communication, and also learning how to be a good listener and contributor to a conversation, and then ending with oral reports and speeches and presentations so they can demonstrate those skills that they learned. As for vocabulary, I have them learning 2-tier, 3-tier words and learning the meaning behind them, and then going more into depth and picking out the different parts of the word, so the different suffixes and affixes and how it changes the meanings. And then I have them looking at more of the synonyms, antonyms type, and homophones of different words and how that whole structure works. And eventually I have them ending with being able to read more complex text and understand it and understand the vocabulary used in it. As for writing, I have them starting with writing a variety of different texts and forms, but learning, and then I progress into learning more about what actually the steps of what goes into proper and effective writing, so beginnings, conclusions, and then I have them analyzing other writers' works and implementing their ideas, and then I have them learning how to edit and revise their work so it's enhanced and a little bit better quality. And then I have them moving into the research portion where they learn how to implement other people's ideas into their work, and then ending with cursive and typing just so they learn a different form of a different way to get their writing across. And then for conventions, I have them starting off with learning the different parts of the sentences and understanding how they're structured, and then moving more into the punctuation, so apostrophes and quotation marks and how that affects the sentence, and then eventually ending with spelling, spelling words that are a bit more tricky, so with prefixes and suffixes and plural nouns and possessive nouns, and just deciphering between those, and then also developing strategies of how to recognize words that they don't know how to spell, and then figure out how to spell them based on the knowledge that they've obtained through understanding how the words and sentences are structured. So that's pretty much how I have it laid out.